This is Miss Owens again. I am going over Step Up 7 today for your math worksheets. Again, these are 6th grade concepts. I'm really excited about today's concept because it's probably one of my favorite things to do in math. It's really simple. Well, I guess it's simple for, if you know how to do it, it's simple, but it's kind of fun. So we're going to be looking at the greatest common factor today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let's go ahead and share that. This is what your worksheet looks like today. So it's Step Up 7. I'm on the reteaching side, and it basically has 2 ways that you can find the greatest common factor of 2 numbers. So up here it says the greatest number that divides into 2 numbers is the greatest common factor, GCF, of the 2 numbers. Here are 2 ways to find the greatest common factor, or GCF, of 16 and 40. They do list this way where you list the factors over on the left, and you basically list all of the factors. Factors are numbers that can go into the number. So they have 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and then you basically circle the biggest number that's in common, kind of like the least common multiple, but multiples, remember, are numbers that we multiply to get to. Factors are the numbers that can go into it. Over on the right hand, they use prime factorization, and that's kind of the method I'm going to show you today. It is prime factorization, but I feel like it's a little bit different. I use a factor tree when I do this. So I'm looking at number 1, if you want to look at number 1 as well. It says find the GCF for each set of numbers, and the first one they have, again, number 1, is 10 and 90. So what we do first is we break down these numbers, okay? We want to make them into the, break them down into their prime numbers. If you remember, a prime number is a number that only 1 in itself can go into. So I look at 10 and I think, okay, what can go into 10? I know that 2 can, 2 times 5. And if I look at 2 and 5, both of those are prime numbers, meaning only 1 in itself can go into them. So I've broken down 10 as much as it can go. Now I go to 90. When I think of even numbers, I know that 2 can go into even numbers, so this would be 2 and 2 times 45. Okay, and now I can break down 45. 2 I can't, and that's a prime number. So 45 I can break down into 9 and 5. I can't break down 5 anymore, but I can break down 9 into 3 and 3. Now I've broken down all of those as much as they can go into their prime numbers. No matter how you break it down, if you break it down enough, all of the prime numbers will be the same, no matter how you break it down. So now I look for the ones that are in common. If I look on this side, I have 2 over here, and I also have a 2 right here. So I'm going to write that down. And then I have a 5 here and a 5 here, so I'm going to write 5 down here. If you look, I have 45, but I don't have one matching, and I wouldn't circle that anyway because it's not a prime number. But I have these 3s down here, but I have no 3s over here to match, so I'm not going to circle those. Once you've figured out the factors are the same, you're going to go ahead and multiply them. So 2 times 5 is 10, so 10 is our greatest common factor. So again, I broke down each of the numbers into their prime numbers, wrote the ones that are common, times them together to get your greatest common factor. Now I'm going to skip down. Let's do one more together. And again, if you have questions after this, just let your teacher know. I'm looking at number 5. So number 5 is 36 and 42. 36 and 42. So 36, I know that 6 times 6 equals 36. And 6 I can break down more into 2 and 3 on each one. And I don't have anything else. 2 and 3s are both prime numbers, so I've broken down 36 as much as it'll go. Now 42, I know that 2 can go into 42, so I'm going to do that. It doesn't really matter. You could do 6 times 7. I'm just going to do 2 times 21. Okay, so 21 I can break down into 3 times 7. And now, again, I've broken down 42 all the way it can go. So 3 and 7 are both prime numbers. I can't break those down anymore. Now I circle the ones that are in common. So I have a 2 here and a 2 here. so I can write that down. I also have a 3 here and a 3 here, so I can write that 3 down. I have a 7, but I don't have a 7 to match. And then these 2 and 3s, I don't have another 2 or 3 to match that, so I can't write those down. So 2 times 3 is 6. So 6 is my greatest common factor of 36 and 42. So again, to review, break down each number as far as it'll go into its prime numbers. Write down the common prime numbers between the two, times them together to get your greatest common factor. If you break it down all the way and you only end up with one number in common, for instance, 2, then 2 would be your answer. If you didn't have anything to times it by, 2 would just be your answer. Hopefully that helps. If you do still have further questions on this, please contact your teacher and they will go over some problems with you. I hope this helps for Step Up 7. That was our reteaching side. All right, see you guys later.